everyone, this is Rabbit's blog and welcome to my comic book discussion series. Today's discussion is on my early thoughts on Marvel Now. Now, I know that I'm a bit late in the game with this discussion, since this was announced months ago, but I wanted to wait it out a bit to see if more titles would come out of Marvel Now, since at the time there were only about 3 titles announced when this was first announced, and I wanted to base my opinions on more titles. Okay, so here's my thoughts on Marvel Now. The fact that Marvel Now is being started due to the events of Avengers vs. X-Men is a bit of a mixed bag for me. I like the fact that Marvel's trying something new to the Marvel Universe, new stories, new lineups, but I don't like the idea that it's being started because of Avengers vs. X-Men. Since the X-Men and the Avengers were fighting each other in this event, it seems a bit awkward to me that they would suddenly work together after an event like this. Now, this might turn out good in the end, and since Avengers vs. X-Men hasn't ended yet, as there is one more issue left as of this video, and there is the upcoming Avengers vs. X-Men Consequences series, it's a bit too early to tell where Marvel Now will be headed in the future, and if these events will actually remain in the Marvel Universe for a long period of time. Now I'd like to discuss about the titles that I am interested in Marvel Now. First up is All New, All Different X-Men, which is going to be written by Brian Michael Bendis, along with artwork by Stuart Immonen. And the premise of this book is that the original 5 X-Men, Jean Grey, Cyclops, Beast, Angel, and Iceman, are going to come to the present to help out with the current X-Men. Now, I'm not really that excited for this title because, for one thing, why is there a need to have the past X-Men come to the future at all? Well, maybe Brian Michael Bendis might give us an interesting story with this, but I don't really understand why they just can't tell more stories with the current X-Men, especially at the events of Avengers vs. X-Men. So, as much as I want Jean Grey to come back to the X-Universe, I'm not really thrilled about the younger Jean Grey coming to the present. Second is the relaunch of Uncanny XForce, which is going to be written by Sam Humphries, with artwork by Ron Garney. And in this lineup, we have Psylocke, Storm, Puck, and Spyro. I'm actually a bit excited for this title, just because Storm is going to be in this title, and it would be interesting to see why she's on the team when she was against X-Force in the first place. It would be interesting to see where the story goes and see if it can maintain the popularity that the original Uncanny X-Force had. Third is Uncanny Avengers, which is written by Rick Remender, along with artwork by John Cassidy. Good creative team. And in this title, some of the X-Men members, Wolverine, Rogue, and Havoc, will team up with the Avengers. I'm kind of excited for this title because Rick Remender is writing it, and I did enjoy his Fear Agent series, so it will be interesting to see what he can do with this title and how long the X-Men will actually be working with the Avengers. And last but not least, Cable and the X-Force, which will be written by Dennis Hopeless with artwork by Salvador Larroca. And in this title, Cable and the X-Force are on the run when they show up at a scene of a terrorist attack and are accused of the attack. This is probably the title I am most excited for because the roster is an interesting lineup: Colossus, Domino, Cable, Forge, and Dr. Nemesis. So it will be interesting to see how this story will end up and how it will affect the X-Men universe. There's actually more titles being released from Marvel Now, including the relaunch of Fantastic Four and Iron Man, but since I don't read those titles frequently, I didn't really mention them in this video. Out of all the titles I mentioned, I'm more excited for Cable and the X-Force and Uncanny X-Force, since the premises for those 2 stories sound the most interesting to me, and it would be interesting to see where these 2 series head off to in the end. What I really want to see out of Marvel Now is more good stories and more character development for the characters, so that way we can see if whatever new events that affect the characters will remain in their lives in the comics. Also, hopefully Marvel will lay off the events for a while, just to give us a chance to be introduced into this new universe and the characters themselves. Well, those are my early thoughts on Marvel Now, and tell me how you feel about Marvel Now. Do you think it would be the best thing for the Marvel Universe, or do you think that it's the worst thing Marvel has come out with? Also, what titles for Marvel Now are you interested in? Be sure to follow me on Twitter so I can keep you updated on my new videos. And if there are any discussion questions that you want to ask me about that deals with comic books, feel free to comment below. This is Rabbit's blog, and I'll see you later.